Alright, this is Flesh and Fear. This is actually one of my favorite levels I've made. I love this song in Doom 1, so of course I put it in here. The flesh has tightened up too tight to cut or move, and yes, that's obviously a sex joke, because I'm mature, so... You actually can walk into it, and that's what causes that line def to say that. I just thought this song was perfect for this. I wanted the texturing to be kind of messy, and like... There's a lot of flesh textures in Doom, but I really wanted this to be looking like the Atlantean areas from Tomb Raider 1. That was actually my inspiration, because I love how they're just these gross, macabre like areas. Everything's basically flesh. You can also see that the river of flesh idea I put in here. So there's a chainsaw if you're pistol starting, and if you want to live this, just do not stand still and push yourself all the way back, because that's actually a line def that triggers these imps and everything behind you. So that's like your warning, basically, because I wanted to stick to a more traditional Doom design for this level, because we already had, you know, a big open area. We've already had like the kind of cram stuff, so I wanted it to be more of a like kind of traditional Doom 1 style era map. So that's why you'll see what I mean in a minute, I guess. So also we can see that this is also the text for all these. This is the entrance forward. I really like this as a texture because it looks really gross. So there's no real way to like make the, yeah, you see what I mean? Like I didn't want this to be like, I can explain it. There's not really any way to make transparent textures in Doom. There's very few already. And I didn't want to actually make more. So, anyways, I'll show you where the secret's at in this one. The secret for this one is right here. It's a hanging corpse. It's one of the few actually like standing in front of something corpses. That's kind of your indication to these like tightened up flesh areas. So, that was the idea behind that. And of course, I'm an asshole. I wanted to put a cacodemon in here that was invisible. This is also where you get your chain gun if you're pistol starting as well, and a backpack if you don't have one as well. You should obviously have a backpack because it's an ammo upgrade, and I wanted to make sure the player constantly has that, and I built everything around that. So, alright, this is also where you get your super shotgun if you're pistol starting, and I love this room. This is actually one of my few proud accomplishments in Doom. I actually like this room because everything aggroes on you, for the most part, and it's really... I'm not going to try and brag, but I think this actually looks really cool. The sidewall textures are a bit of an ass, but I think they're fine for what they are. But I also like how this flows. It's very Quake-like, where you're just kind of ascending and, like, moving up stuff. I also was very influenced by the tomb sections of Serious Sam 1 for this area, because I wanted it to be, like, this weird kind of like hell taking over a tech-based sort of vibe that a lot of Doom mappers like to do. I'm not really a huge fan of that, but I know some people like that. But I do like the hell influence idea a lot, when done correctly. But I want it to be like this is a merge, you know what I mean? Like there's something weird going on that we don't know. And you can tell I really love paint elementals. So I hope you can realize that was sarcasm. I absolutely fucking hate them, and every single time they're put in a map, they're just awful. But I also wanted it to be that the player had to just, you know, prioritize stuff, because, well, maybe I put some surprise extra monsters in the game, who knows, So, yeah, we'll see, won't we? Yeah. For the early game, I really wanted it to be that, like, Lost Souls are just annoying. But as most players will tell you, paint elementals are almost always a, you know, for sure get rid of it. I was very influenced by Shadow Warrior for this part, because in my mind I was like, oh, a forest full of flesh, that would be so fucking metal. And I just kind of like rolled with that concept. And as you can see, you do run out of ammo, it's possible. And then you can see that there's tech coming into the flesh. I really like that concept. It's just... I'm not a huge fan of it, but when done properly, it's really good. So, and also you can tell, I didn't want the player to have very much health pickup here, because I wanted to incentivize movement, and that's why there's not as much health in this area as there is in the last one. So, here's one of the other secrets. This is actually a transparent wall. And believe me, there's actually a reason it's like that. This is how you get an early rocket launcher. So you can see if we go out here, you can see there's a candle, and obviously you can kind of tell, like if you go over here, you can see that there's those skulls and a spike. So you can see that there's something over in that area. So it's not just a complete random idea that I had thrown together. Also, I'd like to point out, like, the stairs I made, I actually stretched the textures to align to where it was always that top bit of flesh, because I think it looks really fucking gross. So, yeah. And if you can see up here, there's also a hanging dude, with like a blood pillar thing going down. He's, yeah. I have problems, I really do. This is why I don't talk about this at work. I don't want my coworkers to think I'm fucking nuts, and I'm like, oh, I design video game levels, and they're probably like, what the fuck does Seth do? What does he think while he's working? So, anyways, this is also, like I said, I didn't want the player to be overpowered. I wanted the player to have a constant, like, mindfulness of their ammo as I piss away, like, 4 shots. And that's why there's not very many, like hit scan enemies and health pickups and stuff, because I wanted the player to be naturally nimble and you get rewarded for it. Which I'm a big fan of. It also incentivizes the player to look around more, because like, oh, where's the... oh, I haven't been over here yet. It's a very basic thing that I decided to put in, which I'm pretty proud of. And you can see that I also put pinkies in here because they actually kind of blended with these colors. So this, if you were playing in PRBoom, you could actually smash this. So the wiggly guy you can walk through. I don't think that's too cryptic. I don't think that's like bullshit or anything. But you can see there's our first Revenant, and I've sort of switched the themes up to be one side is Hell, one side is UAC. So if you have been paying attention and getting all the goodies, you should have more than enough stuff to take care of all these enemies. I tried to design it as well as if the player doesn't grab the secrets, you can still get those weapons and stuff, but just later. I really like that idea, so... As you can see, I've also paid attention to, instead of actually doing real lighting, I just use like lights in the background that you can interact with and stuff. Or sorry, that you can like place down, because I'm too lazy to put real light sources in. So, behind the door you hear the screams and muted demonic groans. I like that text, I really do. So, also you can see that I don't have very many rockets, because I didn't want the player to be so obscenely overpowered that they didn't have like... or they had to have like some sort of reason. They just couldn't have like every single ammo max constantly. They had to actually struggle to use and determine if they wanted to use their power weapons. So here's where we get the red key. Like I said, I like to theme around color. It just makes sense to me. So this is a red skull, however. So I didn't want that to be like too like close. I want the player to explore back and forth, and you can see that there's blood on the walls every now and then. I just wanted to make it a little bit of detail because I didn't want the same texture, because it gets boring after a while if that was all the same texture. I really love weird slaughterhouse themes and like gross shit like that, so I don't know. I'm pretty proud of that, honestly. Like, you can tell that I didn't want this all to be just pink, because that's fucking ugly on the eyes. So you have pinks and reds and browns, so I think that's a pretty decent... I try to go with 2 to 3 colors for every area, because I think that's a pretty decent rule of anything. So, and now we go to the tech portion, and like I said, I wanted it to be one side's UAC, one side's Hell, because it's just kind of cool to me, and that's where we get your... I think that's the official first plasma gun in the map, and so this is where the red key goes, Spooky Bony Man, and more Spooky Bony Men, and this is why I was saying earlier how I was like, I wanted the player to like not get reliant on using doors, because it's a very easy thing. You just go, oh, and then you just wait, and the door closes, and then you go, ha ha ha, you can't get me. So I wanted it to be like, this is like a tech closet or something, like this is just a little like cubby area that's tucked away somewhere, and then you go, oh shit, and then you have like monsters that are able to walk through this hallway. I love this. This is actually one of my favorite designs I've done. So everything can go in here, and it can fuck you up if you let it get too far in there. And the door can just shut on you, because this one's also really fast. So, anyways, you can also see this door is actually jammed open as well. There's even a corpse there to indicate he got crushed by the door. So, I like that little storytelling bit. And I also like this room as well. It's got a little bit of a non-purpose. I guess you could say it's an engineer shaft or something. I don't know. It's like the shit from like Doom 3 was what I was going for with this, so totally not suspicious here with a red key that's innocuously placed in the middle of nowhere. And of course, what kind of sick sadistic bastard would I not be if I didn't make it so you had to fight revenants in open cover without cover? That's so fair. But I actually wanted it to be like that, because if you fuck up and you get homing, I mean, it's not a fuck up, it's 50-50. If you screwed up, you'd be like, oh shit, and you'd run back in here, let him hit the wall, or you'd go, oh shit, and you'd run down here and try to like strafe against this to knock him down. I like that. It's a really small thing that I'm kind of happy with how I designed it. And then of course, we take the red key, and what do you think's behind the door? It's a fucking arch vial, of course, because I'm a Doom designer, and I'm a terrible person. And it's just a little cubby. And of course, what kind of person would I be if you don't continuously fight shit? That's boring. If you didn't fight shit, that would be terrible. And you can tell I actually... Let's see if I can show you guys this, and let's see if you get the idea of why I chose these monsters specifically. Because they're red and brown, and the area's red and brown. I'm so clever. I'm proud of that, I think, probably. And if you look in here, you can actually see I did texture all this. It's not just empty texturing. I want it to be like the skin was like grafting in the ceiling. It's fucking gross. But you also get plasma where they were standing on. So you do get rewarded for like saving up certain ammo types. I really like that idea. Because I just didn't want the player, like I said, to get so overpowered. It was gross. So I wanted you have to prioritize everything at all times. I'm so tired. It's like 10:30 at night, man. So, anyways. Ooh, what's this? It's a new enemy. Oh, shit. We're gonna see it in the next level, though. I promise. In green gold.